There are plenty of game modes in Apex Legends Mobile. However, Battle Royale is the mode that actually made Apex Legends Mobile the very popular game that it is today. There's a lot of things to learn about this game mode, guys. Crafting, the ultra mega top secret vault room, and this geyser? Who knows? But don't worry, guys, I'll explain the entire Battle Royale mechanic so you won't feel lost. Before we even jump into a match though, let's talk about the lobby features first so you can get set up before you start hunting all the Pokemon. Wait. Anyway, tap this button for the Legends list. From here, you can check out all the Legends details, but we ain't gonna do that right now. That's a guide for another day. Subscribe for that. Yeah. What we want to focus on is this button. This sets the legend you highlight to be your favorite legend. Favorite legend is the legend you will always start with by default during the character selection screen. Back at the main lobby screen, you can tap this button to go into the game mode selection screen. In this screen, you can select different game modes. For this video, we'll cover Battle Royale. Do note that ranked mode also works the same way as Battle Royale as far as mechanics and features go. But again, I'll cover that in a separate video as ranked mode has certain extra mechanics that you need to know. In this tab, you have these clickables. Here, you can choose which map to play on. Currently, there's only World's Edge and Kings Canyon, but definitely more to come in the future. Right here is the crafting items availability list. I'll cover this later in the video, so just keep watching. Down here on the left, we got more buttons. Fpp and Tpp basically allows you to choose if you want to play in first-person perspective or third-person perspective. These two perspectives do not share the same lobby. However, in TPP mode, you can switch to FPP if you like, but in FPP mode, you cannot switch to TPP ever. This button allows you to choose which party game mode you can play in. At the time of recording this video, during early access, we couldn't click it, but basically, this allows you to choose solo, duo, or trio squad game modes. Lastly, we have this box over here. This one's basically for the sweats. When unchecked, you can enter a duo or a trio squad game mode on your own without the game matching you up with a random teammate. Once you've set this all up, click this button to go back into the lobby screen, and once you're ready, press this big red button to start queuing up. Alright, legend selection screen. In here, you can tap any legend and tap this button to read about all their skills. In here, you can choose your own legend. When playing with random teammates, sometimes you'll be the last to pick. Sometimes your teammates will choose the same legend that you want to play, and if you want to request the legend, simply tap this button to let them know. Or you can turn on your mic and start screaming, "Oi, let me play this legend, you..." Nah, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Once the timer runs out, you transfer into this waiting area. On the top left of the screen is this button. This is your perks loadout selection window. Tapping this will allow you to pick and choose the loadout to play with for the match that you're about to get into. And if it's not showing up, that's because perks are only available from account level 4. And guess what? I have a guide for that too. Link in the description below. You enter the map in a dropship overlooking the entire map that you'll be skydiving down to. Each flight is different, so often you'll need to drop in different places. But before you jump, there's a few things that you can do while you're in the ship. This button highlights all the replicators on the map. These replicators are crafting stations where you can craft normal and high tier items that you won't find as ground loot. Materials are needed to craft these items and can be found from these material stations and loot bins. While you're in a dropship, opening this map will allow you to see exactly where both the crafting stations and material stations are. But you know what, guys? It's too early in a guide for crafting. I'll leave that for later on. So yeah, let's get back to the basics. As you look at the map, you can also tap anywhere on the map to ping that location and press this button to cancel the ping. This button resets the map based on where you are. So when you zoom in and move the map, just press this button to reset it to your current location. This slider over here lets you zoom in and out, or you can pinch the map with your fingers to do the same thing. Meanwhile, this button lets you zoom in and out when you're flying over the map. Tapping and holding this button will pass the jump lead to one of your teammates, and as soon as that jump leader jumps, you'll automatically follow them wherever they go. However, if you're not the jump leader, you can press this button to detach from the jump leader and control your own skydive. To jump, you press this button. Once you're out, you can navigate and glide down towards a specific landing location. During your skydive, you can do various things such as use any of these ping buttons to ping a location. Or if you're playing as Mirage, you can actually use his tactical ability to send decoys out. More on this in my Mirage guide. And last on this, the jump leader designation always falls down onto whoever the party leader is. Every game will will have hot drop zones, and these zones will have high tier loot most of the time. All you gotta do is open your map and look for this blue circle to find out where they are. Once you've dropped, you loot for weapons and survival items. Standard, right? Items can be found either on the floor, in these loot bins, or in the crafting stations. Alright, crafting time. Remember these material stations? You can walk up to them and collect 25 materials to use at one of these replicators. You can also find materials from normal loot bins, but not much, only 5. These materials can be used to craft these items from the crafting list, and the crafting list changes both daily and weekly. And lastly, items that get put on a crafting list will never appear as normal ground loot until they come off the list. Moving on, in World's Edge, there is also a train that travels around the map. This train contains high tier loot, including these special gold items, and at the end of the train, there's a control panel that lets you use the train's emergency stop feature. And in each train station, once the train arrives and parks there for a minute, these special loot bins come out of the ground and contain high tier loot, and they'll sink right back into the ground as soon as the train starts to leave. What makes Apex Legends Mobile special is its movement mechanics. Anything you can see, if you can reach it, you can climb it. Almost every game asset is non-walk-throughable, and what I mean by that is, see this death box over here? You cannot run through it. It will literally block and stop you from moving. So yeah, if you can get to a vertical structure, you can climb it. However, some high ground areas are out of bounds, meaning when you land on something too high, for example, this timer will start, and when it runs out, you die. You don't get knocked down, you straight die. And your loot box drops exactly where you die. In some part of the maps, there are cliffs that you can literally fall off of, meaning you can fall out of the map. When this happens, you die, and your death box spawns at the edge of the cliff closest to where you died at. Each classic battle royale game mode lasts for about 20 minutes, including all the intro, animations, and end game stats. This circle thing right here is called the ring. It shrinks every few minutes, forcing everyone into the middle. When you're outside a safe zone, in this orange zone, you take ring damage. Ring damage deals direct damage to your base HP, fully ignoring your shield. The only two things that can stop you from taking ring damage are this heat shield item and going into the void. Heat shield. This is a survival item that protects you from ring damage. Upon using a heat shield, a dome will pop out that will provide damage protection from the ring damage, allowing you to buy some time and heal before moving again. It does have a slightly complicated mechanic that you definitely need to learn about though, so make sure you check my website for more information on this thing. The other damage protection is by going into the void. Void? What the hell is that? There are only 2 legends that allows players to travel in and out of the void. Wraith and the new mobile exclusive legend, Fate. They basically have abilities that help not only themselves travel into the void, but also other players, including their enemies. For more info on their abilities, check out their guides in the description box below. Note though guys, Gibraltar's dome shield will not protect you from ring damage at all. And last on the ring, every time the ring shrinks, ring damage per tick increases. Throughout the map, you'll also see these funky looking things. These are called survey beacons. Survey beacons can be used to find out where the next ring location will shrink to. Only recon legends such as Bloodhound, Crypto, and Pathfinder can use these beacons. Alright, so what happens when you die? First of all, when your HP drops to 0, you get knocked down. Once you get knocked down, you are awarded another 100 base HP, and teammates have 90 seconds to revive you before you fully die. When you're knocked down, you can use this button to use your knockdown shield. Knockdown shields provide a frontal dome cover that blocks most incoming damage from things like bullets and grenades. When using a knockdown shield, your movement speed is slowed down to 55%. And lastly, finishers fully bypass knockdown shields. And likewise, when your HP drops to 0 from taking enemy damage, you die. Currently, there are a couple of things that deals direct damage to your base HP. Number 1 being the ring damage. The other being Caustic's toxic gas. These things can kill you without ever touching your shield at all. Alright, so but what happens when you die? When a player dies, they turn into a loot box. Inside this loot box are player banners. Banners can be picked up and taken to one of these respawn beacons, and scanning one of these beacons will bring back your dead teammates. Or if you find one, use a mobile respawn beacon. Respawn beacons are single use only, so when you use one, they're unusable for the rest of the game. Respawn beacons can revive up to 2 dead teammates at once, and pro tip, once a banner has been picked up, anyone in the team can scan the banner in, meaning one player picks the banner up and the other waits at the respawn beacon and can scan the banner themselves as soon as the banner gets picked up. Revived players will come back in a ship where they get dropped off and jump down to a location near the beacon used to scan them back in. But guys, Try avoid getting killed, obviously. Here's how. Health system. There are 2 HP bars that you need to know. This is the shield HP bar. This is the base HP bar. Shields will take damage from most incoming swords before your base HP starts to take a hit. Shields can be repaired using a shield cell, shield battery, or phoenix kit, while base HP can be healed using a syringe, medikit, or also a phoenix kit. Always stay healthy. Prioritize healing your shield first, unless you're trying to survive the ring damage, of course. Look, in most cases, 20 base HP plus 100 shield HP is better than 100 base HP with no shield at all. Then we have these balloon things that float across World's Edge map. These are called cargo bots, and they are exclusive to World's Edge. These cargo bots contain loot that will help you win or survive fights. You can find ammo, heals, and attachments inside these things. The quality of the items that you'll get inside will depend on the color of the ball at the time when you shoot it down. And shooting this base part of the cargo bot will immediately drop the ball, and once it drops, you still have to shoot it or hit it a few times to open it. Beware though, guys. When you shoot a cargo bot, it makes a super loud noise that everyone can hear. When the cargo bot is flashing with red lights, this means it's carrying a vault key. The vault key can be used to open the vault, which are located in these parts of World's Edge map. The vault contains super high tier loot that can give you massive advantage throughout the game. The door takes a few seconds to open, so try to have your team watch your back as you open the door. But while you wait for the door to open, you can look around anyway. Moving on. Throughout the game, these care package pods will fall from the sky that contain survival gear as well as a chance for a care package weapon. Care package weapons are basically special weapons that you cannot find as a normal ground loot. These weapons are super powerful. They come with a full kit of attachments and has their own special ammo that doesn't take up backpack space at all. However, these ammo cannot be replenished, so once you run out of ammo, the gun becomes useless. Lastly, dropship weapon selection changes every season, meaning one season this Peacekeeper shotgun might be a dropship weapon, the next season it will be basic ground loot. Alright then, doors. Doors are quite significant in Apex Legends Mobile, so it warrants a section in this video. First of all, you can only open doors outwards, never inwards, which means you can stand behind it and an enemy won't be able to open the door at all. Doors can be broken with 2 melee hits or immediately destroyed by an arc star or grenade on explosion. Termites can also destroy doors after a few ticks, as well as damage an enemy on the opposite side of the door as it burns through the door. Jump tower. See this balloon thing over here with a zipline going up? You can ride a zipline up to the balloon, and once you reach the top, you will automatically start gliding, allowing you to travel far and fast. Geyser. Similar to jump towers actually. Walking into one of these will launch you high into the air and let you glide to travel far and quick. And last but not the least, ziplines. Zipline is another significant feature that's definitely worth talking about in Apex Legends Mobile. Throughout the map, you will find these ziplines that you can ride. These come in both vertical and horizontal form. Great for moving around the map as well as using in gunfights. This is definitely one of the things that you need to master ASAP, but there are a few things that you need to understand to be able to properly use them. Here, watch this movement guide. Oh! Maple syrup won it! GG's!